Hey tea lovers, this tutorial video is going to help you become a kombucha brewing tea master. So kombucha, it's actually relatively easy to make. It just requires a little time and patience. So if you have that, you can make kombucha. So to start, you need your Scoby from Tayyiba Farms. So if you have that, you're all set to start the process. And then once you have it, you can just continue to make batch after batch and play with all sorts of fun flavor combinations and then reap the rewards of all the probiotic benefits of kombucha. So before we begin, there are 4 things you want to take into account. The first, no metal or plastic containers. You want to use glass and other materials like that because metal can actually react with the acidic kombucha and that can interfere with the Scoby. And then plastic can get bacteria on it and you want only the good bacteria that grows with kombucha. The second is clean is key. You want to scrub your hands like surgeon clean. You want to make sure all of your products that you're using are clean. We just want to create the most perfect environment for the Scoby and for the kombucha to ferment. The third is that temperature does play a role. So if you're in a hotter climate, then the kombucha might ferment a lot faster. If it's colder, obviously it would ferment a little slower. And then the fourth thing is no mold. You want a no mold zone. If you start to see any black or green or white on the Scoby or while it's in the drink, the whole batch is ruined and you just want to toss it. So here are the things that you need for starting. 14 cups of clean water, your Scoby from Tayyiba Farms, 1 cup of white sugar, 8 tea bags of black tea, 2 cups of unflavored, unpasteurized kombucha that you can either use from a previous batch that you've brewed or you can get from a store-bought brand. And then you'll have your jar, your glass jar that you're gonna put everything into, and it's very helpful to get one that has a spigot because that makes pouring it out a lot easier. And then I'm gonna use a couple coffee filters to top it and a rubber band that will go around those to store it while it's in the fermentation process. So we are back and ready to do the second fermentation with our kombucha, which is putting it in the bottles and then flavoring it, which is really the fun part. You can play with so many different flavors. All types of fruits and herbs will work great to make your drink. So as a little recap, the Scoby is really going to do best at 25 degrees to 34 degrees Celsius. That's where it's going to really thrive and become vibrant, in a dark, still spot. And the warmer it is, obviously the faster it's going to ferment, and then the colder it is, it's going to slow it down. And if it gets too cold, it can actually stop the fermentation process altogether. So that's why over the course of 6 to 10 days, you do the method like I showed with the straw and then putting it in a paper straw. You don't want to use plastic because bacteria can also leach from the plastic. So that's why you want to use glass and paper. And taste it, and really there's no magic formula on when it's ready. It's just a matter of taste. I would say anywhere from 6 to 10 days is fine to bottle it because it will be full of the bacteria and the yeast that are good for your gut. But the taste wise, the longer it goes, the more acidic it gets. So you could start bottling it at 6 days. If you like it a little bit sweeter, if you like it a little bit more acidic, then go on to about 8, 9, even 10 days. I like about 7 to 8 days. It's just a personal preference. The point of getting your Scoby from Tayyiba Farms is so that you can save it and preserve it and keep using it again and again to make batches of kombucha. If you're ready to make another batch of kombucha, you just repeat the process shown in the first half of this video. If you need to take a break, however, you can do that by saving the Scoby. You just need to remember that you cannot put the Scoby in the refrigerator because that can harm it. It risks potentially permanently damaging it and shocking it. What we advise is that you make a Scoby hotel. To do that, you put the Scoby into a sterilized container or jar, and then you fill it with a little bit of the fermented kombucha tea and shut it with a plastic lid. You don't fill the tea all the way to the top so the Scoby is touching the plastic lid. You just need to put a little bit in with it. And then you can leave it for a period of up to 60 days, just changing the Scoby kombucha fermented tea with a fresher batch of Scoby kombucha fermented tea every 60 days and leaving it at room temperature in a dark spot. During the second fermentation is when you add additional sugars from the fruit, and that will give the yeast more food to eat up and convert into carbon dioxide. And by sealing it into an airtight bottle, that carbon dioxide gets trapped into the liquid and creates the fizz. So for these three flavorings, in one I did a tablespoon, half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of chopped ginger, the juice of 1 lemon, and a teaspoon of honey. In the other one, I did 1 mango pureed. And in the other, I did a blueberry water and sugar mixture that I boiled down and let cool to room temperature, and then added lemon zest. With our kombucha now bottled, we're going to let them sit again at room temperature for 3 to 5 days, and that's going to continue the carbonation process. If you want to tell if they're getting too carbonated, you could put some of the kombucha into a plastic bottle, some that you're not going to drink, and watch it. And as the bottle starts to harden, that will tell you when these are ready. And then once they are ready, you're going to place them in the refrigerator. That will stop the carbonation process, and you're going to chill them, and then you take them out and try them and drink them. And if they're perfect and exactly how you like it, then they're done. If they're not quite carbonated enough, you leave them sitting on your counter for anywhere from 1 to 2 days, again sealed up, and let that carbonation start to react again, and then start the process over where you put them back into the refrigerator, let it get chilled, and then sample it and keep tasting it until it's the perfect consistency for you. And there you have your kombucha that you get to make and flavor it and have it be perfect and a fraction of the cost of what you can get it at the store. So enjoy your brewing.